Ladies and gentlemen, as sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti, get ready to quake in your seats like Quake 2. It's time for a man I call Scott, and a man that on forms writes himself down as Scott Lancaster. It's Scott Lancaster!
G'day. I'm still fairly new to this stand-up comedy thing, and when I was thinking about what I might talk to you about tonight, it occurred to me that a lot of you wouldn't know me from a bar of soap, and that makes me a little nervous because I once had a rather traumatic experience involving someone who didn't know me from a bar of soap in the showers at a gym that I used to go to. So look, I thought to avoid any confusion, it'd be good if maybe we could get to know each other a little better. So in the next 4.5 minutes that I've got left, I thought we could work our way around the room, and I'll get each of you to tell me your name and something about yourselves. Now, I know that gives you only about 2 seconds each to do that, but look, you probably know the drill. Most of you look like you've been to some form of group therapy at some stage. Now, given that there's quite a few of you though, and only one of me, I'll go first, shall I? Now, I don't know whether there's anybody in the audience from overseas, but I was born and spent the first few years of my life living in Bougainville, which is a small town on the northwest coast of Tasmania. I remember asking my dad where babies came from, and he told me that I was the product of immaculate conception, although the way my mother tells it, it wouldn't have been a particularly special shag. I was an only child. My parents were always saying, if only you were more like your brother. Sorry, I've forgotten where I am now. That's good, isn't it? The northwest coast is a great place to grow up. It's God-fearing country, and I wasn't brought up to fear God though, just his awful wrath. And I experienced God's wrath at a fairly young age. My family went to the local Baptist church, and I was good friends with a minister's daughter, and she was in my grade 2 class, and it was her that I had my first sexual experience with. I went back to her place one day for a play date, and before I knew it, one thing led to another, and she was lying down in a beanbag and pulling her panties down so she could show me her angina. Now, I didn't know what an angina was at that age, let alone what I was supposed to do next. I still don't, apparently. But I remember thinking that it was all pretty good. But God was watching. And soon after, he punished me by banishing the minister and his family to Sydney to live. And then he made me wait a very long time for my next sexual experience. I've forgotten where I am again, sorry. I was a clever bastard at school, not on comic stage I'm not, but I'm a clever bastard at school, and at the end of grade 10 I was awarded Dux of the school, and at the Leavers dinner I was voted most likely to be voted most likely to succeed. And there was an award for most likely to go on and become a successful stand-up comedian. But I didn't win that. I don't know whether they had these at your school, the Schoolyard Sweetheart Award that they give out to the couple that they think are most likely to go on and live happily ever after. Well, I won the award for the most enduring couple by myself. And then at the after party, 8 out of 10 girls voted me as the last boy in the school that they'd want to get off with. The other 2 abstained, and so did I. But eventually, look, I got over my fear of rejection, and I got married, but still can't help feeling sometimes that God's punishing me for what I did in the 2nd grade by making me wait a very long time between sexual experiences. Now, I have responsibilities in my life now. I have a day job. I expect you're probably surprised to learn I'm not making a living out of stand-up comedy. And we've got a couple of kids, a 6-year-old boy and a 10-year-old bitch. And I was having a bath with my son the other day, and he said, "Dad, scrotums look like walnuts, don't they?" And I had to agree with him. I mean, scrotums do look a bit like walnuts. And he said, "Oh no, but not yours, Dad. Yours is too big to look like a walnut." And look, he had a point. They were a bit swollen. And I had to explain to him that his mother and I had been going through a bit of a lean patch. But pretty soon I was hoping that they'd be back to a more normal size and looking like a couple of walnuts rather than a couple of coconuts. And then he said, "Dad, my penis looks a bit like a prawn, doesn't it?" I suppose with the way they do things these days, and from the right angle, his penis did look kind of like a prawn. But then I pointed out to him, of course, that my penis was far too big to look like a prawn. He said, "Oh no, Dad, your penis isn't that big. Besides, it looks like it's got a lollipop on the end of it." And I thought about what he just said, and I thought about my swollen testicles, and I said to him, "Son, why don't you tell that to your mother?" Thank you, I'm Scott Lancaster. Good night.